welcome back to the show. Today we have a follow-up episode with Dr. David Rubenstein. Hello, doctor. How are you doing today?
Hello, Shelby. I'm doing really well. Thank you.
Yeah, I've been seeing doctor very regularly these days because after we record the last episode, which is
hmm
about a month ago,
hmm
and I visit your clinic and I really experience breathe better, sleep better, and perform better.
There you go.
And I realized you were right. Like we always think our mindset, our brain is dictating our actions,
hmm
which is somewhat true. But then your method is like opposite.
hmm
You use your physical, your body, your muscle to reprogram your brain, your mind, right?
Yes. Yes.
So I when I during the session with Patty, I experienced like really from head to toe, and a lot of muscle we never think it's there, and she pointed out and kind of opened my mind.
hmm
My personal experience opens my mind and make me feel like oh this is possible. Like explore,
hmm
discover,
hmm
yeah, and it kind of helped me like the loss of my mom. It's because it was a trauma and I was depressed and I was not performing well for my career, my work, my business.
hmm
And it does help me from breathing, from those sessions with my muscles stretching, and it really opens up my body up, you know. So today, we're gonna talk about insomnia, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so insomnia, everybody experienced, including myself. And the most that I had was can't fall asleep or wake up in the middle of
Can't
the
stay
night.
asleep.
Yeah, and sometimes it's because the body, or sometimes it's the mind, right? So I want to start asking you, like your client who experienced that issue, and what's your method for them? Like, what's the first step?
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to say congratulations on your program.
Thank you.
Um, you seem to be doing just really fabulous.
Thank you so much.
And uh, because we're following up from that first, this is part two.
Yes.
I think that we should answer the question of how Shelby's doing
Okay.
since, because you received 4 treatments
Right.
in the last month,
Yes.
and and what you were having the most trouble with is you were having trouble concentrating and sleeping. Those are the two things. Plus, the stress was bothering you quite a bit.
Yeah.
So, how are you doing in stress, sleep, and concentration?
Stress is, I think, the mainly is because in the beginning of this year, January, I was like full force. Like
hmm
I believe I've tried to not think about the trauma, the loss of my mom, and so I work full force. And then when it comes to mid February, and all of a sudden my body kind of just give up. And when my body gives up, my mind start have negative thoughts,
hmm
like, oh, this is too much. Oh, this is not gonna go to the way planning to. And because of that, I start having procrastination, self doubt, and because of that, it causes financial stress, um, worries, all those. And so my sleep pattern is off because usually I, starting from COVID, I have morning routines, wake up at 5, exercise, and do meditations or read books. All those are gone because of this this pattern of reaction to the trauma.
hmm
Yeah. So after the session, I slowly, able to see, oh, okay, it's relief, like I mentioned in the beginning, the muscle that Patty helped me,
hmm
and the stretch and the breathing. So it's important that we thought breathing is so normal. We never think about it. We breathe in, breathe out every day, but actually the technique that she showed me, it's really helping me because a loss or trauma of losing someone, it's not like it's unpredictable. It's all of a sudden a TV show or somebody mention something, it will trigger you to your emotion will go from here to here right away. That's what I experienced. So when I feel that way or starting to have anxiety, I use the trumpet that you guys taught me,
Mm-hmm.
like this, to
Mm-hmm.
breathe in, breathe out for 5 times, and I do that, when I feel that way, and it
Very
really
good.
helps. Yeah, it really helps. It kind of clear my mind. Yeah,
Well, this will be a good dovetail right into the sleep part because
yeah,
um, when you do the trumpet breathing for the audience, the trumpet technique is a 3 or 4 quick succession, 90% of maximum breath uh, that causes an immediate drop in the stress hormones, cortisol, adrenaline, and norepinephrine. And there's a little bit of euphoria that goes with it, but the amount of stress that leaves your body that you can feel leave your body is really significant. And then, of course, we do those repeatedly, and pretty much you're just kind
yeah.
of very gooey, we call it, very relaxed, and it's
Yes,
strange to go from lots of upset to lots of relaxation in the span of about 30, 40 seconds.
right.
So, and why this is so relevant to what we're going to talk about in insomnia is that those stress hormones, especially adrenaline, if you have adrenaline in you, you are not going to go to sleep. It's very good at keeping you awake.
Hmm.
Um, I remember in college, we used to use something called no dose.
I
It
don't
was
know.
basically just a bunch of caffeine.
Oh, okay.
But I tell you what, adrenaline's even better than caffeine
Hmm.
if you want to stay awake. So,
Yeah.
so the trumpets are a physical way to get rid of the physical chemicals, the stress hormones that cause the mental anguish, the upset, the stress, the worry, the concern, um, and even the feelings of being traumatized by what you've been through.
Hmm.
And so what we want to do is have a two-pronged approach. The
Okay.
first prong is when you have a stress issue, you have to
Yes.
be able to deal with it quickly and
Yeah.
efficiently.
Yes.
That's what those trumpets are really good for.
Right.
Then we've also given you the pause and pinch technique, I believe, right?
Yes. Yes. We
And
did that too.
and this one is really good at getting you to stay asleep
So
longer.
yes.
And you've noticed that?
Yeah, I
You,
did try that after the session with Patty,
mm-hmm,
and then I did a volunteer for your
mm-hmm,
office, and it really totally relaxed your entire body.
mm-hmm.
And I forgot to mention every time we did an exercise or technique, the doctors and Patty asked me to do like a walk, and that will feel the difference because usually you guys work on one side of the body first, then the
Mm-hmm.
second side. So I can feel at first it's the imbalance and then the balance.
Maybe I'll
Yeah.
describe that to the audience
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
a
You
very
can.
fascinating experience.
Yes.
All these years later, it still is an interesting thing for me to watch on a day-to-day basis.
Okay.
So for the audience, uh, what we do at Total Relief Method is we'll do a group of protocols that are micro motions, micro exercises that are extremely precise, and they elicit different properties from the brain. Well, once we do 10, 20, 30 minutes of that, we take a mini break, which is actually just taking the opportunity to walk back and forth in a certain spot inside our clinic. And during that time, you will go through several um, experiences. First, you get up and you're like wobbly, and you're
Yes.
like, "I've had 2 drinks or something. What
Yeah.
happened?"
Yeah.
And then that goes away in about 30 seconds. And then what starts to unfold is this experience of change in your body where, oh, my legs feel different, or my foot feels different, my shoulder feels different. Oh, that pain, and it's gone. And we call it the integration walk because That's exactly what it is. It's
Uh-huh.
taking those protocols and getting the central nervous system or your brain to actually integrate them into its new living set of templates
Yes.
that operate the brain and body.
Right.
So that's what the integration walk is
Okay.
um, for the audience.
Right. Okay.
Um,
Good.
so going back to the issue with insomnia,
Yes.
what we have is most people are trying to get to sleep with a lot of stress hormones still in their system,
Right.
and this is almost an impossible task. And as anybody who's listening to my voice can attest, it's frustrating. And
Yes.
so you're
Hmm.
lying there, and now you're not just not sleeping, but you're also frustrated, which means that you're getting more stress hormones
On
now
top of it.
on top of
Yeah.
what you already
Right.
had.
Yes.
So it's really, really important to get this under control.
Hmm.
And one way to get this under control right away
Okay.
is through the trumpet breathing technique.
Uh-huh.
Now, I was having a very long scientific discussion early this morning
Okay.
with a very learned type of patient, and we were talking about the differences between what TRM does with our
Okay.
breathing and with all of these things I've hear the 6-7-8 breathing, the 4-7-7
Uh-huh.
breathing. I hear all of these, and you know something? As far as I know, ours is the only system that has the science to back it up.
Okay.
And I found out that one of the breathing techniques was designed by a psychologist in the '60s,
Okay.
and I did my due diligence like I always
Hmm.
do, and
Okay.
there's nothing to back it up. It's
Oh,
just
it
here,
just.
try this,
Uh-huh.
and it even violates some of the basic scientific principles. For example, if you
Hmm.
inhale and you
Right.
hold your breath,
Hmm.
there's no force in the universe that's going to stop your body from producing stress hormones.
Okay.
When we hold our breath,
Hmm.
inhale and hold our breath, our brain goes on alert.
Yeah.
We're now in pre-fight or flight or in fight or flight. And when we go into fight or flight,
Hmm.
what always happens is the release of those three stress hormones.
Oh.
So there are tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of people across America. Tonight, they're going to use some breathing technique.
Yes.
They're going to believe in their mind that it's going to help them.
Right.
In many cases, perhaps most, it won't actually help them, but they'll feel a little bit of relaxation.
Hmm.
But the reason why they're feeling the relaxation is not like what, in our case, what we're doing is getting oxygen delivered to the brain.
Yes.
They're feeling it because they took their mind off their problems and put it on their breathing.
Yeah.
This is a very uh, open, somewhat comical discussion amongst physiologists and
Hmm.
some psychologists too, because we always want to know what the mechanism of action, what's the cause.
Yeah.
If you're getting better,
Yes.
do you know why? We want to
Well,
know why, right?
yeah, of
So,
course.
so what we do is we provide the science behind what it is that we're doing for each and every one of our breathing techniques,
Hmm.
and that's why they're replicatable. They work the same way with different people every
Yeah.
single day.
Yes.
So, um, so we have a way to treat the immediate stress with the
Hmm.
trumpets, and then the other breathing technique is the pause and pinch.
Okay.
Maybe I'll describe that for the audience.
Yes, please.
The pause and pinch technique is a hybrid of a couple of different techniques, and the basic is you inhale, you exhale, and then you pause, which means that you're pausing your breathing. You're not closing your throat. You're not holding your breath real hard. You're just pausing the muscles that make the air go in and out of your body.
Okay.
And over a series of, say, 10 of those breaths, which is all nose breathing,
Hmm.
you're going to find that each time you have that little pause, so you inhale, you exhale,
Hmm.
and then you pause. One, two,
Hmm.
three. During that pause, you're going to feel the relaxation start to come on.
Yes.
a little dose at a time, a little dose
Yes.
at a time. By the time 10, 12 breaths go by, you're very relaxed, even sleepy.
Yes.
And one of the troubles, not troubles, but the challenges that we have is when we give this process to our clients, inevitably in the beginning, they can't stay awake long
Yes.
enough to practice it. So, so they say, "Hey, look, doc, I was doing the pause and pinch, but I couldn't stay awake past 2 or 3 minutes. That's about the average, and the assignment's for 10 minutes." So, um, yeah, we're currently working on ways to make it so that they stay awake the whole 10 minutes. You get a little tack on their finger or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I remember after I did a few, I sit up right away and I feel little dizzy and my legs is like very soft. I just want to lie down, lie back down.
Yeah,
So yeah.
it should, and what it usually does do is elicit a big yawn from the
Uh-huh.
person, and they'll stretch a little bit.
Stretch.
Um, but even with myself or Miss Patty,
Mm-hmm.
one to one, guiding you through it, chances are you're not going to get to even the fourth minute the first couple of times because you're just going to go to sleep. And
Yeah,
sometimes it'll be where the person's actually looking at us
right.
and
Also,
they're awake and they're doing the process and their eyes just close.
yes, they also do this.
So
React to the same.
so
Yes.
this is one of our so with our two-pronged approach.
Right.
Immediate stress, take care of that, but also the long-term stress, what we call
Mm-hmm.
background stress. And to
Background
the
stress.
audience, let
Yes.
me tell you,
Okay, please.
this is important. It isn't the day-to-day stress that'll get you.
Okay.
It's
It's
the background stress.
like the past, our past
It's the
experience.
stress that we accumulate,
Uh-huh.
but which we don't really think about. That's the stress that gets our blood pressure up. People
Okay.
think it's the things that happen day to day. Not true. Not true.
Okay.
Here's a question that's illuminating about this subject.
Mm-hmm.
Would you rather, which is going to be more dangerous for you?
Okay.
Something that you know about or something that you don't know about?
I will say something you don't know about,
Exactly.
right? Most people, that's where the fear, afraid, unsure comes from, right?
And that's what background stress
Uh-huh.
operates like that. It's just in the periphery.
Right.
If we think about it, we can feel a little bit of it. We
Yes.
know it's there. We know that we're upset by it. We just don't know what to do with it.
Mm, that's right.
Our method is a lot easier
Okay.
because rather than having to figure out all of my problems and all of my stresses and get a strategy going, we just breathe
Mm-hmm.
and we get calibrated and we breathe. And what happens is an amazing phenomenon.
Right.
Your brain takes over for you and
Yes.
it'll see to it that the what that's bothering you self resolves.
Mm. Okay.
We've all been taught that we have to, find out what our issue is and
Yes.
address that issue
Uh-huh.
one to one, go and deal with it. And
Right.
this is not true,
Okay.
especially when it comes to trauma. And, the basic thing that we're always talking about trauma, right?
Yes. Yes.
The basic thing is that trauma, it seems like the only way out is to deal with it one to one.
Okay.
But in reality, if you get the stress down, the background stress, you get that drained out of your system,
Mm-hmm.
your mind, your brain, it changes. It becomes far more capable
Yeah.
at problem solving.
Yes. That's
And
very
and
true.
you don't even need to know the details.
Yeah.
This is so predictable that we even
Uh-huh.
have something called brain speak.
Mm.
What is
Yes.
brain speak? Brain
Say
speak
less.
is a method, a language based method I developed in 2007.
Okay.
It's a way to get your brain body to do something that you don't really want to do, but you need to do.
Okay. We all need
So,
that.
and it goes like this.
Okay.
Let's say that um, I want to wake up tomorrow morning peaceful. But every time I wake up, let's say that my problem is I wake up and I'm thinking about all kinds of things.
Right.
And that's not good.
I know.
By the way, that's a sign of background stress.
Okay.
So that's my goal.
Okay.
So the night before, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, brain, see to it that I wake up peacefully and that my mind is peaceful and don't bother me with the details.
Okay.
I like that last part the most.
Yes.
Probably because I'm lazy. Um, but the best part about it is if you really turn over a task to your brain,
Mm-hmm.
it'll just do it.
Yeah.
And this was originally designed and developed for people that had certain types of pain and headaches, and were suffering from something called central sensitization, which is a very complicated pain syndrome.
Mm.
And it's a technique that allows the person to be in control of their pain and to use a simple command
Right.
to get the brain to help be part of the solution
Yes.
in what it is you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, because I do kind of heard a lot that our human being is made the brain is made to protect you. So a lot of time like fear or afraid, the brain don't want you physically to do certain things because protecting you,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
So
That's what the fight or flight is actually
right.
for.
Yeah.
A big part of it is just a giant self protection mechanism.
Yes. Yeah. So so what other method or skill that can that your clinic provide can also help insomnia? Because I also heard one of your interns, she mentioned that she did the possum
Uh-huh.
pinch, that her and husband try it,
Hmm.
and she said her husband always has trouble sleeping, and now she finally can hear her husband snoring. So I think that's very
Well,
in a funny way, but
they're a
it's
very cute couple,
yeah.
and they were married last year, and
Mhm.
so and she she sent me a special picture of her at the wedding
Yeah.
a few days after the wedding, and
Okay.
she wanted to thank me because and she thanked me in front of the whole congregation,
Okay.
um, and I didn't know this was going to happen because when she was injured in early 2020,
Mhm.
she was and they were going to have their wedding that summer,
Oh.
and they were unable to have their wedding because her injury was too catastrophic for her to
Oh.
even wear a dress.
Oh,
So
wow. Okay.
um, so she's married now, and
Yeah.
she's and um, she thanked me because she was able to get married and do all the
Mhm.
things that go with
Right.
that with her
Yes.
friends and
Yes.
the honeymoon parts and all that stuff
Mhm.
because she was healthy again.
Yeah.
And
So the reason I brought this up is because a lot of couple or married couple, when they sleep together, sometimes one person is awake, the other one is not. So, but for this girl intern, I think she has her husband to join your sessions,
mhm.
and that way they both can be on the same page, right? On the sleeping patterns, and
Right,
yeah,
right,
yeah.
yeah,
So that's why I brought this up. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, he was caretaking for her for a long time,
Uh-huh.
and over a 2.5 year period of time of him, full time working and basically taking care of her nearly full time or full time,
Right.
he was just completely spent. He had nothing left in the tank,
Mm.
and he realized that he was then in trouble with his stress, with his insomnia,
Yes.
which was now chronic,
Right.
and so he's been in the program. He no longer has insomnia. He's going to sleep so rapidly that it's a little disorienting for him because it used to take
Mm.
him 45 minutes to an hour, and maybe he would get to sleep, maybe not.
Yeah.
Now he hits the pillow and he just says he's out just like that, and he's in the first couple of weeks of his program, he was sleeping so much and
Yes.
so deep that he would describe his sleep like he's never slept before kind of thing.
Okay.
And oh my God,
Wow.
I was like I went to sleep and I
Mhm.
woke up the next morning and I never moved the entire 7 or 8 hours. I
Wow.
was in the same position and then my body still wanted more sleep. And so so when sleep's good, we
Mm.
really like it. We really like our sleep.
Yes, right.
When it's not,
It's worse than a nightmare.
it's a very
Right?
frustrating, lonely
Yes,
experience.
right.
So we're talking about things that prevent sleep, like the stress hormones,
Mhm.
and stress in general and background stress. They prevent sleep.
Yes.
But there are other things that prevent sleep.
Okay.
One of them we call rumination.
Rumination.
Rumination is a specific type of mental stress.
Okay.
It's where we worry and think and worry and think and then when we're done with that, we worry and think some more.
Okay.
And it's something that humans do.
Right.
And oftentimes we do it not really realizing that that's what we're doing.
Uh-huh.
We get preoccupied and
Right.
we're before you know it, we're 2 hours into that
Worried.
preoccupation.
Mhm.
Then we go to bed with that preoccupation,
Yeah,
and then
there's
we think, "Well, why can't I go to sleep?" Well, preoccupation means alertness.
uh,
If you're preoccupied with something,
yes.
you're by definition paying attention to it,
Right.
which
Focus.
is yeah, you're
Yeah.
putting some focus there,
Yeah.
and that's going to bring on a higher energy state. And what we want is a relaxed, low energy state
Mhm.
that's going to set up sleep really nice.
Right.
And there's some little things that we can do to help sleep.
Okay.
Um, you should never eat a lot before going
Uh-huh.
to sleep.
Yes.
Now, there's a reason that's obvious and there's a reason not obvious. I'm going to
Okay.
cover both.
Please do.
When you eat a lot of food, you feel kind of full
Full,
and it's a little uncomfortable.
yeah. Mhm.
The not obvious answer is why you're uncomfortable.
Okay.
Why you're uncomfortable when you've eaten and you're trying to go to sleep is that the food inside the stomach
Mhm.
is actually pushing up against your diaphragm muscle. Your main inhalation muscle
Mhm.
is compromised because the food is putting pressure on the muscle called the diaphragm.
Okay.
And all muscles behave at the same basic behaviors.
Right.
And one of those behaviors is if you put some pressure on a muscle, it's inhibited. It doesn't want to work.
Mm.
It'll work a little bit, but not well.
Mhm.
For
Okay.
example, if I'm going to lift a weight with my arm, if I pinch my arm here and I pinch the muscle, it will not produce as much force.
Yes.
So the same thing is happening now with the diaphragm and overeating.
Mm.
So there's a now what's happening is that my diaphragm
Mhm.
doesn't want to work.
Right. And
So
it
I
causes
get stressed
right.
now because I can't use my diaphragm muscle.
Uh-huh.
And the diaphragm muscle for your audience,
Mhm.
I really want them to know a couple things.
Okay.
I really want them to know that you cannot be your sane self without the use of that muscle. It's impossible. It's a mathematical problem.
Oh, that's interesting.
So I call it the sanity muscle.
Okay.
That's what our diaphragm
Insanity.
is. And
Okay.
it's not like you can substitute other muscles for the diaphragm. That's actually impossible.
Oh,
It's a single
just
muscle.
one. Okay.
There's only one diaphragm that does what it does.
Mhm.
The key thing that it does that no other breathing muscles do
Okay.
is that it brings the air into a region of your lungs that is the region is the optimized area for breathing, and it's in the about the lower third of your lungs, maybe lower half. You have
Mhm.
7 times more breathing capability there than you do in the upper half. That's why I say it's a math problem.
Yeah.
So if I can't use my diaphragm,
Yeah.
now I can't get air into that particular area,
Mhm.
not without over breathing.
Right.
And then there's another problem. I
Yeah.
can't do that. So the two things that must happen if the diaphragm is not working, what must happen is you must breathe faster and you must get stress hormones produced in
Produce.
your body. They will be produced.
Uh-huh.
And some people, it's going to be a lot of stress. Some people, it's not going to be as much, but it will be there. It has to be there.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the reason why you need to have your diaphragm working.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as I know, we're the only company in the world that has a test to tell us if it's working or not.
That's good.
Because if your belly's moving back and forth,
Yes.
you think that that's the diaphragm working.
Right.
It's not.
Yeah.
So,
So that's a very good tips, because a lot of people eat late or even had a we call it night snack or
mhm.
something. So yeah, so it makes sense. Um, so do you have any other point that you want to make about insomnia?
Um, sure. There's
Last point.
a couple of things about our sleep.
Okay.
Uh, the deepest sleep that we get, believe it or not,
Mm-hmm.
is not REM sleep.
It's not running.
No,
Okay.
it's the initial 45 to 60 minutes of falling asleep.
Uh-huh.
That's the deepest sleep you get all night long.
Oh.
And then you go to a slightly one step less depth in the sleep, and those are your REM cycles. And you need to have 4 or 5 REM cycles a night. Okay, some nights you get 3, but if you're getting 1 or 2, you're going to get brain backup.
Hmm.
Brain backup is the chemistry of us having a conversation inside our brain. Both of our brains,
Mm-hmm.
they're releasing this chemical.
Right.
There's 7 chemicals. One of them, I'll just use one of them, is called amyloid beta. It's the lactic acid of the brain. So we work a muscle and you get lactic acid, and there's a little bit
Yes.
of pain there, and you
Yeah.
got to metabolize it out, we say.
Uh-huh.
Well, the brain cleans itself while we sleep.
Mm.
So if I'm not sleeping, my brain isn't getting cleaned.
Yeah. Decl- you know,
It's
clutter.
cluttering up.
Yes.
And these chemicals sit between the the gap, the synapse, and they change the signal. They impair the signal. This is part of where we get brain fog.
Ah, okay.
You literally cannot think properly with brain
Right.
fog.
Yeah.
And this is one of the reasons why.
It's like blocking. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. How about dreams? I don't know if you can answer this, but I was just have my thought about dreams because some people say if you don't sleep deep enough, you won't dream. If you had a dream, that means you had a good sleep. I don't know if that makes sense in
Well,
your perspective.
so let me see.
Okay.
There's there's the dreams that are the nightmares and that are the night
Yeah.
frights, and there's that group of dreams.
Right.
Um, and the reason why I would speak to those briefly is that about 10 years ago, some new studies came out that
Mm-hmm.
showed that highly negative dreams were actually problems in breathing
Mm.
during sleep, which triggered the fight or flight during sleep now,
Yes. Okay.
which then triggered jaw clenching during sleep still. And the stress of that combined with some random memories
Uh-huh.
inside our brain produce the
More.
nightmare.
Oh. Okay. Got it.
Am I saying all nightmares fall under that?
No.
No. But it appears that most do. So most nightmares are actually breathing problems.
Right.
And that's kind of relieving to me because you can fight that. You can fight that very well and win
Oh.
that battle.
Okay.
Um, I'm not much of a dream analyst, so I don't do any dream analysis of any kind.
Right.
I think there's a woman named Louise Hay
Okay.
who made quite the splash in organizing what dreams mean in a
Oh.
catalog kind of way. And water means the unconscious, and so if you're
Oh,
in the
okay, I
water,
see.
it means you're swimming in your
I
unconscious. And
see, I see.
and are they true or not true? I don't know.
Yeah,
This is not my area
I know.
of expertise.
Okay.
Um, and I've also heard that if you don't dream, something's really really wrong. And um, but
Okay.
my experience in my clinic
Mhm.
is that most people do not remember their dreams most often.
Yeah.
Um,
After you wake
and
up.
it doesn't seem to have a lot to do with the quality of their sleep. I don't know. I would have to defer to somebody who knows more about
Okay.
this.
All right. Well, thank you. I was just curious. That's why I brought that question
Yeah,
up.
sure.
Yeah. So I know you do a lot of speaking gigs,
Hmm.
and if people want to find out where's your next um, speaking or webinars,
Hmm.
where can they follow you
Oh,
or
well, go
find
to
you?
www.totalreliefmethod.com.
Uh-huh.
We have a calendar of speaking events
Yes.
where you can find where I am anywhere. Um, there it is. It looks like there
Yeah,
it is right there.
this one is in person, and you do have sometimes you do have online, right? Zoom.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
sometimes we do a Zoom seminars,
Okay.
and we did one not too long ago on rumination, that we were talking about that.
Yes. So make sure you guys go to the website, follow Doctor, and check out the future events or
Yeah.
any that any information that you guys put out. So thank you again for coming back to the show.
My
And
pleasure, Shelby.
gonna do another one like a trilogy. Okay.
Okay.
So
All right.
alrighty. And thank you also helping me personally to feel better, breathe better, and now I'm performing better. Okay.
My
And
pleasure.
yeah, thank you. And thank you for watching and listening. We will continue our episodes next time. Bye bye.